Hi everyone! Well, I just want to share with you a little bit about what I've been up to this week in the garden, and who knows, if you guys like this, maybe I'll make it a regular part of our channel, so let me know what you think. So this week I have been working on this red container planter area. Now if you saw this on my garden tour, you saw that I completely tore out all the nasturtiums and I'm totally redoing this area, which I'm really excited about, having a completely blank slate to start with. So let's take a closer look and I'll bring you in on some of my plans, and I'd love to hear some of your suggestions too. Mac actually has a new trick. He has been completely jumping over those pots right there and into the garden. So let me see if he'll do it for you. Mac, come on Mac, come on Mac. There we go. If you guys remember from a couple months ago, this whole area was spilling over with nasturtiums and the heat took them out, like I mentioned in the June garden tour. And I decided to completely start over with a blank slate, which is really fun. So pulled everything also out of the red planters. And what I want to do is make this a red and yellow garden bed with a little splash of purple and a real paradise for the pollinators. So I think it'll be really fun to kind of have a themed garden. I'm really excited to try something new. So what I planted in the middle is a Sweet 100 tomato, which produces loads and loads of small cherry type tomatoes. It's already got a ton of tomatoes on it. And let me see if I can get a good shot of some of those. There's a bunch of them right in there, and there's some new blooms at the top. I've got a sunflower in here that I need to trim up and maybe plant some more sunflowers. I'd like to maybe plant sunflowers all along the back, and behind this red planter I'm going to put a whole bunch of flowers in, maybe some hummingbird feeders, that type of thing. But then what I did down front here is I planted a purple beauty eggplant on either side, and also some purple pepper. So that's my little splash of purple. And I want to fill this garden bed with some other peppers. Now the thing I would love to have your advice on, I'm waiting for 3 beautiful black trellises, tomato cages, to come in from Gardener's Supply. And I have this beautiful wooden trellis. I picked it from a local nursery. It's 5 feet. I originally was going to make a little flagstone pathway through the middle, around the center, put that wooden trellis in the center, but then I realized that that beautiful wooden trellis will be blocked by the tomatoes. So let me know what you think, what I should do, if I should kind of offset it a little bit. And I'm thinking about maybe planting like a little cucumber type teepee that will climb up and over that trellis, because I love fresh cucumbers, and I did plant a brand new wave of fresh seedlings just a couple of weeks ago. So you can tell we have been busy here in the garden, and I do have a couple tomato transplants going. This is a Chef's Choice Black, which I'd like to plant in that red planter. And here we have an apple yellow, which I believe I will plant right over here next to the Sweet 1000. And I haven't quite decided yet what to do with the back 3 planters. I also want to do something with hanging baskets, so kind of debating on that. So if you have any ideas, please let me know. And I am also going to be redoing the strawberry crate towers. This one was the original strawberry crate tower. The plastic crates have just kind of seen better days. The strawberries have seen better days, so I'm going to replant those into brand new black plastic crates with Smart Pots crate liners. See if I might be able to get a little bit more life out of them, or even if I can find some brand new strawberries. But strawberries are really hard to find this time of the year. So that's the general overview of the red and yellow with a splash of purple garden bed. Let me know what you think, and I would love to hear your suggestions too. Now another thing I've been doing in the garden this week is planting more tomatoes. I just got a hankering for some brand new heirloom tomatoes, and I'm testing out a few varieties that might be in a brand new heirloom tomato seed collection. I actually planted a whole bunch more tomatoes from seed indoors, a whole nother round of peppers. It's going to be so much fun. Those will be ready to harvest probably in September, October. So make sure you stay tuned for videos on that. But let me show you a couple tomato transplants that I put in some Smart Pots, and I'm really excited to see them grow. So here's some brand new tomato transplants I just got going the other day in Smart Pots. They're looking a little bit wilted, a little bit of transplant shock, I'm thinking. So these are in, I think these are 20-gallon Smart Pots. And this one here is the apple yellow variety from All America Selections. And this one is actually another Herzogovac. This is the giant tomato that our moderator on our live stream, Cliff Warren, sent me from Idaho. So we've got one plant growing right there in the 8-foot wooden trellis. And I had another couple little seedlings I just couldn't bear to part with, so I popped them in here. And I moved them into full sun because of all the trees that we planted, which are absolutely beautiful right now. Some of my planters are not getting enough sun, so I'm trying to plant whatever I can in containers, pop it in full sun to grow the fastest, and I'm hoping for some great late summer fall tomatoes with this. Here in Southern California, typically this time of the year, we get a weather pattern called June gloom. It's a marine layer that kind of hangs around until 11 or 12 o'clock. So most mornings have been cloudy and overcast, which isn't exactly great for growth of the garden, but it is wonderful for getting out here in the mornings and just enjoying some time in the garden. So I have been getting a lot of planting done. Now, right behind me on the hill, things I feel like are growing pretty slowly because of our June gloom. But I've got to show you guys the giant sunflower. See if I can get it in frame there. That giant sunflower right there, growing on the gardener's nocturne arch. I am absolutely loving this. It's got to be 10 or 11 feet tall, and every day more blooms are popping out. And I've got to give you guys a closer look at the sunflower. It is absolutely stunning. It was a volunteer flower, but it is just growing by leaps and bounds every single day. Sunflowers are one of my favorites, so I'm absolutely loving it. So let me know if you're growing sunflowers in your garden. It's also a great way to bring in the pollinators. Another little project I've been working on this week is redoing this Smart Pots large round raised bed. And what I decided to do was put in another wooden trellis. I'm really enjoying the natural rustic look of using wooden trellises this summer. This is actually, I think it's about maybe 3 feet tall. And this is actually 2 trellises. I got these from the same garden center in Chatsworth, California called Topanga Garden Center, where I got the wooden tower trellises. And I just put 2 of them together in the shape of a teepee. I tied them together at the top with some thick twine. Absolutely loving the twine this summer too. And I'm planting some cucumbers around the base, all from my cucumber seed collection. So the cucumbers will sprout, grow up over the trellis, up over the top, and climb over and provide some shade underneath. And because we have had such unseasonably cool weather this summer so far anyway, in June, I decided to go ahead and plant some lettuce underneath because it will be shaded out by the cucumbers. And I think I already have a couple little sprouts coming up, so that's always exciting. Like I mentioned, we did have a really unusual weather pattern. This spring, we actually had a couple early heat waves in April. And May and June, we kind of had that June gloom weather pattern. And then this weekend over the 4th of July, we're supposed to get some really hot weather. So I will be working on covering things with shade cloth for the next couple of days and mulching. But it's pretty exciting to see things grow, starting to harvest. Right back here, there's a Crookneck Squash. We plan to harvest that over 4th of July and grill it. And I did go ahead and get planted another tomato here. This is an apple yellow tomato. Like I said, All America Selections winner, so I'm really excited to have some nice, colorful tomatoes. So here in June, what I'm really working on is getting a fresh new wave of vegetables growing, so that I have fresh veggies to harvest after some of my early spring crops are ready to die out. So I would highly recommend that too, and I've got a late summer garden seed collection which is perfect for that. So we'll be starting a new wave of seeds as well. In the summertime is when pests and disease really like to attack the garden. So I have been really diligent about checking the garden to see if any maintenance needs to be done, keeping up with my regular fertilizing of worm tea every couple weeks, and my pest control like we talked about on last week's video. So that's been a lot of fun. It's been fun to see things grow, but I want things to grow a lot faster. So I don't know about you, waiting is the hardest part of gardening, but it's definitely the hardest part for me. Well, Camera Guy has actually been digging out a garden bed here for me for my new herb garden videos, which will hopefully be starting within a couple of weeks. So let me just show you a little bit about what he's done. We showed this on our June garden tour, and Camera Guy removed an old retaining wall right behind this garden bed at the top of our hill. It was falling over and just kind of unstable, and replaced it with some brand new landscape timbers. and I've been kind of waiting to plant this until he had this done, but I'm really looking forward to having a little herb garden here right outside of our kitchen door, which is right there. You can see that in the background. So we'll be starting a new series on that coming up within a couple of weeks. Camera guy's actually been pretty busy in the garden too. Typically Sunday is the day we spend most of the day outside. I'm gardening and planting things, and he's doing projects that need to be done around the backyard. So it's been a lot of fun to spend that time together and just to be outdoors. The weather's been beautiful and we've really, really enjoyed it. Now we also made a new little smallish garden bed for me. Let me show you that. So because we live on a hill, things are always falling over and need shoring up. So this little landscape timbers on the right side needed some shoring up. So what he went ahead and did was made a new little garden bed for me here, put some landscape timbers, cut them to size. It was really nice of him, and then filled it with soil. I kind of let it sit for a while, but then this past weekend, I went ahead and installed drip irrigation, because things just do not make it here in Southern California without drip irrigation. And then since I've been getting really into tree branches and twine, you guys have seen that on the container garden series, I just cut some tree branches in maybe 2-foot lengths and put it around the edges here because I wanted to keep Mac from kind of digging in this garden bed. He doesn't dig a whole lot, but I just wanted to protect a little bit. And then I found some of this thick twine on Amazon. I think it just looks so, so pretty. And it's so easy to do, you guys. I just tied it off at the end and then wrapped it around each little tree branch and then kind of made a little figure 8 and wrapped it around again to make a small little fence barrier. And I love the rustic look. I just think it looks so pretty. And what I decided to plant in here, because it does get mostly shaded during the day, is some lettuce. Again, because of our cool weather, lettuce is growing pretty well right now. In the summer heat, it might not grow so well. I'll just throw a piece of shade cloth over it. So I just planted this last weekend. Some bronze mignette right here. It's the first to pop up. That's actually a more heat tolerant variety. And then I've got some Pablo lettuce right here, which is from Baker Creek. A butterhead bib lettuce, and then a strawberry cabbage lettuce. So it'll be really fun to see the different colors grow, so we have some yummy salads. One other thing I did this past weekend is I planted another tomatillo. The purple tomatillo in this tall 8-foot tower is growing like crazy. I cannot believe how fast it's growing. And someone actually reminded me on the garden tour video, I had completely forgotten that you need 2 tomatillos in order to get tomatillos. They're not self-pollinating like tomatoes are. So in order to have tomatillos, you need to have 2 in your garden. So I went and picked up another plant. This is a green tomatillo. And I actually moved a tomato that was in this spot, decided to put the 2 tomatillos next to each other, and picked up a 5-foot tower so that we will have plenty of tomatillos for salsa verde. And I've also been walking around to my tomato cages and helping the bees along. Tomatoes are self-pollinating. They have both male and female parts in the flower. So all you have to do is just shake your tomato plants. This is a Chef's Choice green to help it produce more and just kind of move the pollen around. And so far it's working. I've got some tomatoes coming on. I cannot wait to have these tomatoes. So that's pretty much what I've been up to this week in the garden. Comment below. Let me know what you've been up to this week in your garden. I know it's a really busy time of year. And also let me know if you'd like this type of video to be a regular part of our channel. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.